Hey guys, Welsknight here, and welcome back to another episode of our Lunar Base Let's Build. Hope you guys are having an awesome day. I'm having a great day, and last episode we got our terrain all figured out for this area that we're going to be building in, and we also did kind of like a little mock-up of the general style that we're going to be going for, even though this is not going to be what the base itself looks like shape-wise or anything like that, but this is just a general idea of the style. So I think it's time to start planning out the base itself. So I'm thinking we're going to cover a pretty large area with this. So I think we'll have one portion that kind of comes over here. And this is, it really doesn't matter how many blocks. We're looking for more of a general feel here than anything else. So let's go like so. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Okay, so that's like 15 blocks. And it, as I said, it doesn't have to be perfect, but we're looking for just a general feel more than anything else. Then we'll go up to maybe there, maybe even maybe a little shorter than that. Maybe we go about here. And then we'll bring that one up as well, and then we just bring these guys over, and we're going to create kind of our first little thing. Now, as for interior of this building, I don't know that I'm going to think about it too much. Maybe I will, maybe I won't. We'll see how much time we have. As I said, this is meant to be, or as I said in the previous episode, this is meant to be kind of a filler series while I'm at Minecon. So, or not Minecon, while I'm at Minevention. No, Mine Fair, that one. Wow, self. It's going to be one of those days. But with that in mind, I think, that gives us basically 5 or 6 episodes to kind of get something figured out here. And I think we can take full advantage of that, and we will. So then, let's say about here is where I want this to start kind of coming out again. And let's go maybe to about here-ish? Something like that. And we'll kind of bring this one over and up. And then let's just see, can this be divided into... That looks like an odd number, so that'll work. That'll work. I do want to have a point of symmetry in the middle here. Even though we're building in kind of a very modern style, and symmetry is not really something that we want to incorporate a lot of, I do want to have kind of a definite middle point, if that makes any sense. So that'll go here, then this one will kind of come up like so, and over, and like so. Okay, there we go. And then we'll bring that up to here, right? Yep. And then same over on this side. And then we add our highlight block. Like so. There we go. So that gives us kind of a general front facade shape type thing. And then let's kind of build this up a little bit as well. Right? So we'll get something like this going. That seems pretty good. We want to get our shape sorted out before we start filling things in, getting into details, all that kind of stuff. We want to make sure we get this shape right, because that's very important for what I hope would be obvious reasons. Last thing you want to do is come up with a shape and then decide halfway through the build that you really don't like it after all, and so much for this, we're starting over. That's obviously no good. So let's go ahead and go... Did I? Oh, I see. Okay. So I messed this up a little bit. That's okay. That's okay. That's an easy fix. Want to build that up to there. And then this one will kind of come down like so, and that one will come up like so. Okay, there we go. That's much better. And then here, that seems good. And we'll build this over like so. Yeah, good, good, good. Okay. And then once again, we'll copy that line going down the middle, right? So we've got something kind of along these lines. I think that's pretty good for sort of a starter shape. Now over here, I think what I want, well, first of all, we know that we want this to be these gray highlights that we see here. We want those to be mostly covered up. We only want you to see them when you're looking at it from the front or the back, you know, through this. We don't want them peeking out over here. So let's kind of build a border around this side like so and up like so. There we go. And then up here on top, let's fill in. I wonder, can I go like that? What is this? 251.0 and go replace air. Will this work? That'll totally work. Okay, so the set command does not work because we're using world edit for 1.11.2 in Minecraft 1.12, which is not ideal, but the replace command does work. So, bearing that in mind, we can save ourselves some time on filling in some of these things. So that's pretty good. That's actually very good for us. Let's just kind of go you to here like so. There we go. And then we've got a thing here. And then lastly, we'll want to do the same like that. And that should give us a pretty good idea of what this whole thing is going to look like, right? So we've got kind of an area set. Now, I want to have an area on top of this as well. And I think it's going to come about like so. What is this, into? Yeah, into. So we'll go here. And we're going to basically build this up maybe to about, maybe one higher than that. Let's go one higher, right? So we'll have kind of like these, I don't know, I don't want to call them fins per se, but almost sort of fins. Kind of coming up on top. Like that. And actually, I kind of like that one is higher than the other. So let's actually go a little bit more with that. Right? So we get something like this going, and then do we want to build this part of the structure using the dark gray? I'm almost thinking yes. We'll see. This episode is all about getting the shapes the way that we want them. What do we think of something like that? That's kind of cool. What would it look like if this was white? And there's an easy way to find out. This is 251.7. This is 251.0. So we go replace 251.7 with 251.0. Do we like that better? Maybe. Maybe we like that better. I don't know. The other thing we could try is what if we were to build this out? Just kind of over like so. No, I like it better the other way. So that looks pretty good. Now, one interesting thing about this is that the block palette we're using really doesn't allow for slabs and stairs. We don't really have, obviously concrete does not have slabs and stairs. So we have to kind of add detail without using those materials. And that makes this kind of an interesting little challenge in many ways. Maybe we go to here. Or actually, you know what? So we've got this idea where it's kind of rising up like so. I think what we're going to do here is build this over to about there or so. And then we'll kind of build, this was what, 3? That would be like right about here. Right? Build that up. This can come out, let's see, 1, 2, 3. So let's say here is where this will come to. And we'll do something like this. And then we're going to put another one of these like so. So shape-wise, we can do something like that. Now the question is, do we want to have another one of the gray highlight blocks in the back here? And the answer is... but game, please. Thank you. The answer is... I think so. Yeah, I think we do. So we're going to have a window... Well, will this be a window? Maybe this will not. Maybe what we'll do is something like this, and then this will end up being a window. Right? So we'd have kind of like this big sort of picture window right here, which could actually be really cool. And what if we were to do something like that on this side? That's kind of nifty. I like that. I like that a lot. Okay, so now we need to figure out the other side, and what I don't want is to make this part symmetrical to that side. So I think what we're gonna do is bring this right here up by an extra 2 blocks. Okay. We'll clear all of this out. This we know can come up. And then we'll clear this part out as well and bring this bit up by an extra 2 blocks, right? So then from the front, we have something that kind of looks like this. I'm not entirely sold on this now. Let's bring that down a little bit. We'll sort something out up here. Actually, you know what? I know exactly what we're going to do here. So we'll bring this up by 1. We'll bring this up by 1. And then what we'll do here is shrink this by 1 on either side, which will still give us a fair amount of interior space, but we'll do something like that. And then here, we'll have like a roof type deal, kind of coming over like so, right? So it'll be something like this, and you'll see this white line. Like that. How does that look? That looks okay. I think it would look better if... Is that where it needs to be? Yes. Ooh. You go there. I think it would look better if we brought that through. Yeah, that's kind of cool. Let's bring that out one more on this side. And then over here, we'll do it like that. I quite like that, actually. That's kind of nifty. And then let's just try something like this. Maybe we bring that out one more. How does that look? That's a pretty cool shape. I'm liking it. Okay, so then up here, we're going to start building another part out, and this is going to come out quite a ways. Maybe to about there. And we'll kind of bring it over. And then I'm thinking, let's see, this comes up one, so lined up with this block, I believe, right? Yes. Let's kind of do something along these lines. Right? That will kind of come up there. And then we'll have this and right here. Let's see if the walls command works. 251.7. Walls 251.7. Oh, the walls command totally works. Okay. So something along those lines. I like that. That's pretty cool. That's not a bad look either. So I'm quite happy with this, actually. As far as the basic shape goes, like, this is not bad. Replace air 251. There we go. So that'll be flat white. Yeah. Yeah, this is looking good so far. This is looking really good. Now, this will probably be one of several structures. This is not going to be the only structure here. So we'll do something like this. We'll bring this part out as well, like so. And then I suppose we should just fill that in with the white, right? And then we also need here to here. Fill that in with white as well. There we go. And actually, it could be kind of cool if we had these at, like, different places. And then as far as the glass goes, I'm thinking I want to use red stained glass. That's what we used on our mock-up over here. But I think maybe that's too much red. I think maybe that's a bit too much. Why don't we try cyan and see if we like this better? How does that look? Yeah, I think that's a better color. So this is what? 169. Okay. So we will go here to here. Replace air 169. There we go. And then here to here. And here to here. Oh. There we go. So that gives us kind of our window. I like that. I do. Now the question is, I don't know that I'm, now that I'm kind of seeing this over here, I don't know that I do like this part. So I'm thinking we're gonna just go back to the general. Yeah. That's better. I do like that better. Okay, cool. So then we'll go here to here. Fill in those windows. This section we still need to figure out. here to here. Fill in those windows. That needs to be dark gray concrete powder. There we go. And then here to here. And here to there. All right. How does that look? That looks pretty good. That looks pretty good. Okay. So then we were talking about potentially making a window here to here. So let's try something like that. Let's maybe fill that in. This part will bring over, I think. Let's just see how this looks if we do our windows like so. It looks okay, but I don't really care for it. I think I would prefer if we had a border like that and then we just went with the regular old sort of flat wall right here. So this would be flat. This would be our limit for the base in this direction. And then we'll go here to here. This is 251.14. So replace air 251.14. There we go. So something like that. I think that's probably a better solution for us. Here to here, same deal. And then here to here, replace air 251.0. There we go. So that gets that top filled in as well. What do we think of that? That's okay. That's okay. I am thinking I want to build this up one more and bring that like so. Yep, I like that better. And then maybe here we just kind of bring this line out again. Nope, that is not a good look. I've changed my mind. Although it would be possible to do something like this and make this all white, perhaps. What do we think of that? I'm thinking that went too high is what I think of that. Try again. There we go. Nope. I think it was better the way it was. So now we do the opposite. Replace 251.0 with air. There we go. Much better. And then we do need to kind of come back in here and refill in parts of this. Right? So we'll do something like that. We'll get a little of this gray wool in, and that should be perfectly fine. Yeah, that looks good. Okay, so we're starting to get a thing that sort of resembles a base of some sort. Like, this is starting to look like a lunar base. I'm starting to really kind of feel it, if that makes sense. This is starting to look pretty cool. We still have to obviously figure out some things for sure. So, for example, the base needs an entrance for obvious reasons. So let's go and let's just tear all of this out and fill this in with the white concrete. Oh, that's a hole. That's okay. right? So this will be, I'm thinking, our entrance, like right here. And we'll do open doors, like so, and then we'll need to figure out some sort of like stairway or something. We could probably get away with using quartz. Like it's a little bit light compared to the white concrete, but I think it'll work. I think it's fine. And then we could even go like so. And maybe like this? Nah. What about like that? How's that feel? That feels pretty good. And then we'll have bigger doors. Yeah, that's nice. This is coming along. This is starting to feel pretty cool, and I'm really starting to like it. We need to finish filling that little bit in because it was just sort of exposed and looking sort of goofy. But it's pretty cool. I'm liking it a lot. That is, however, where I'm going to end today's episode. Guys, if you enjoyed this video, you know what to do. Links in the description below, so check that out as well. Otherwise, my friends, thanks for watching, and I'll definitely see you next time.